Hello everybody and welcome to Journal Auto YouTube channel. Not long ago I had a video where I reviewed the Sandero Stepway, the Dacia Sandero Stepway, and I had a viewer from Bulgaria who wrote to me and was unsure what to choose between a Sandero Stepway and a Kia Stonic. And it happens now that I have next to me a Kia Stonic. If you are interested in my review with the Sandero Stepway, you will find it in the video description. This car surprisingly cost only almost 12,000 euros, but now a Kia starts from 17,000 euros. So at least here in Romania. So the base version is 3,000 euros more expensive than the Sandero. Of course, if you don't negotiate with the car dealer and so on and blah blah blah. At the end of the video, I will tell you in my conclusion if this money difference is worth or not. So stay with me to see what you will get for a budget Korean car. This is the Kia Stonic 2022 1.2 petrol naturally aspirated engine, only 84 horsepower, but it's a 4-cylinder engine, not a 3-cylinder one. Design wise, the car looks quite nice. You have the typical tiger nose that you see on the Kia models. These are not LED headlights. Even the day running lights are only a normal light bulb. You also have fog lights, and here is the radar for the automatic braking, and also you have here the rain sensor, and I think it's the lane assist also. The wheels are quite small, only 15-inch metal wheels with plastic covers. These are the tires that are coming from the factory. They are Kumho, so even the tires are, I think the brand is South Korean, but I don't know where they are made. So 185 in width. These are the wheels. So they are quite small. You can have bigger wheels on the upper versions, but the ground clearance is 18.5 centimeters. So the car is quite tall. It's not just a crossover by name, it's a proper, let's say, crossover, even if the general shape looks more like of a hatchback, but the ground clearance, it's quite good. So it's a proper crossover ground clearance. A thing that sadly I don't like is that you have these SUV plastic covers, all okay, but sadly they don't cover all, the whole body of the car, and because of this you can get dirty when you enter or get out of the car. So what I also like is that you see the door handle feels very nice, and for a budget car the door closing also sounds nice. See, of course you don't have a turning signal in the mirror, so it's also cost cutting because it's much easier to change. It's much cheaper to change the turn signal if it's in the wing and not in the mirror. And if you want to fold the mirror, of course, manually, it's a little bit hard and brutal. You see, it was quite brutal. But again, we are talking about a budget car. What I like also is that for those of you that have the car's left-hand driving, it's that the fuel cap is on the left side, and of course you will find the petrol station almost empty on your side. But a downside is that if you want to open the fuel cap, you need to do it from inside, from this button, just like in the Mitsubishi, for example. This is where I also saw this solution, let's call it. Here, nothing special, very classical, so nothing important. If we are also here, let's talk about the door inside. Cheap plastic. The door handle, it's at least gray, but it's also plastic. But you have here some room for a big bottle, and you also have a sign, hey, put there a bottle and not a glass. Yes, only for bottles, remember. In the back, it is the same story. Cheap plastic, again plastic. This is the button for the electric powered windows, but at least there is, again, some room for a bottle and not a glass. Yes, be aware. Why I told you this? Imagine that in the BMW 3 Series, the E90 generation, there are no door pockets in the back. I was shocked. At least here you have them on a budget car. In the back, the car also looks quite nice. You don't have LED running lights in the back, but at least you have a real exhaust. And you don't have any design for fake exhaust. And this is something that I like. In this world of a lot of fake, Kia is sincere, honest, and real. A weird thing is that, okay, you have the fog light, back fog light, tail fog light there, and there you have the reverse light. Here, see this white area? There is nothing there. Maybe they should have put the reverse lights there. Then, if we are still here, let's see the trunk. This is the trunk. As you saw, the door opened very fast. Compared to Sandero, the trunk of the Stonic, it's only 4 little bigger. So 332 liters compared to 328 for the Sandero. Everything here is simple. You have a cover for the protection offered by the importer, and also you have a tool for your safety kit. Otherwise, there is nothing here. You have a small pocket here on the left, a hook here, and that is all. Everything is simple. But what I also like is that you have a normal size spare wheel, which is very rare in today's car. And also, compared to Sandero, the door also is covered whole in plastic, and you don't have empty metal like in the Sandero. So even if it's a budget car, it has some touches that makes it a little superior to Sandero. And here you have 2 handles. Let's test them. No, it's quite heavy. The trunk door, it's quite heavy, but yeah, this is the car. And also you have a normal antenna there, so it's not a shark one. This is the Kia Stonic, the Kia Stonic outside. Another thing that is very interesting, you see that the back door, it's quite wide. This is very nice safety-wise. This car was launched in 2017, and back then it obtained only 3 stars at Euro NCAP testing without safety pack. With a safety pack, it got 5 stars. In the back seat, there is quite a lot of room, even if it doesn't look like that. Why I'm saying this? Because I'm quite tall, 182 centimeters tall. I will see on the screen that converted for you, for those of you in UK. So the front seat, it's quite pushed to the back for me being tall. And I still have a little room underneath. It's quite nice here. Also the back seat, it's quite comfortable, not very hard, not very soft. It's how it needs to be. And headroom wise, I have a hand, 5 fingers, so it's very nice up here. Very interesting, you will see here that the seat cover, they do have a zipper. This is because, most probably, I'm not sure, but most probably it's like in the Dacia, you can remove the seat covers, take them home, wash them, and then put them back. So this is nice. Here in the middle seat, it's hard to call it a middle seat because it's a little bit upper than the side seats, and it's not very comfortable. There is room for a 5th person. Even if I am quite tall, I still have like 3 fingers headroom, which is okay, which is nice. And which is also great is that the central tunnel is almost non-existent. Also, you have an USB port here in the back, and it's an USB port, not a 12-volt socket. And you have also a pocket, but only on the passenger seat, which is something I saw only in Kia. This is quite weird, but okay, you can live with that. And also you have the door lock for the children, which is very classical. You need to use the key for that. And by the way, this is the key fob. So it's nothing special. You have the new Kia badge here. You have lock, unlock, and a button for the boot. And of course, it opens like that. Another thing is that this thing looks very, let's say, classical, not say it old and from the 90s, taken directly from the 90s. But again, It's a budget car, and I guess we can live with this. Most probably most of you wouldn't even have noticed it if I didn't say it in this video. Inside, of course, cheap plastic. It's a budget car. Here we have electric mirrors, not folding, but only to adjust them. This is a button for blocking the windows, and we have 4 electric powered windows, but only the driver one has an impulse. Here on the left we have a button for adjusting the height of the headlights. This is to adjust the lightness of the interior ambience, interior lights. This is a button to deactivate the start-stop system, to deactivate the ESP, and this is a button for the tire pressure. It has Bluetooth, it has cruise control, it has an assistant in order for you not to leave your lane. We also have automatic headlights, and also we have rain sensor. Let's start the car a little bit. What do we have here? So the gauges are analog, because you can imagine at this price that they're analog. But in the middle we have a colorful trip computer, a colorful screen that it's quite nice. What we have here? Here it's the speed that it's being shown in a digital way. Yes, this car has only 587 kilometers, so it's still new. We also have here the drive info, the trip computer, 6.9 liters fuel consumption. It was a little bit less, but I kept the car running while I was filming this. Then what do we have? Here it's the lane assist, I guess. And here you have different options. Driver assistant, lights, for example. Then we go back, door, convenience, service interval, team selection. There are only 3 teams. Other features, language, reset, and so on. And that would be all. I think it's quite well equipped. Apart from having a central screen, what it's also much interesting, and what I like a lot, is that not all the menus are on the screen. You have a lot of shortcuts. Shortcut for radio, shortcut for the media, shortcut for seeking the radio or the tracks, shortcut for the tracks, shortcut for the settings. It's not very colorful, yes. It does not have many options, but it responds quite well. For a budget car, I think it's a great menu, especially those buttons. Oh, I like them because it's very, very practical not to have everything on the screen and going through a lot of menus in order to find something simple like the climate control, which is here. It does not have an automatic climate control, it's manual, so the AC button is here. But what you will observe is that they have been integrated very nice, very ergonomic, and in the same time very nice design-wise. Here there are some warning lights for the seat belts, for the child seat, and so on. And on the center console you have a lot of space. This has some rubber on it, so it's very good to put your phone here because it will not go in all places. It's not wireless charging, unfortunately, but hey, it's a budget car. I will repeat this throughout the video. And down here it's another cubby, which is very big. You can put a lot of stuff. You have a USB port to connect your music or whatever you have on your USB on the central screen. And here it's a 12-volt socket. And what I like the most, it's how it has been integrated in the design. This is very nice. Here you have only a button for deactivating the parking sensors, and these are fake buttons, no worries. And the lever, the gear lever, it's plastic. It has been a while since I saw a plastic gear lever, but it feels very nice. It's very easy to maneuver it. And at least this looks like leather. Here you have also 2 cup holders, and they are cup holders, not bottle holders, because they are not very deep, so you can have put there a little cup of coffee. For bigger bottles, they can move out from their place. And you also have an armrest, which is covered in leather, And also you have under it some cubby space, which is quite deep and very useful for your daily needs. Another thing is that the seats, even if they are not leather, they are textile, but it looks quite good. They feel quite good. And as you will see on the driving, on the test driving, they feel quite comfortable, surprisingly comfortable. Another thing, you have here a cubby for your sunglasses, and it's also covered in a soft material, which is a nice touch. And here we also have the sun visors that have a mirror. It does not have light for the mirror, but at least you have a mirror, a vanity mirror, how it's being called in the UK. The glove box, it's quite big. It's plastic. It does not have a light on it, so it's not lighted, but at least it's square shaped, and this helps a lot to put a lot of stuff, like, you know, the book of the car, which is written in Korean, because it's not made in Slovakia like many European Kias, but in the mother country of South Korea. This is interesting. Not that I don't like cars made in Europe, but it's interesting to have a car that is made in its mother country. And another thing that surprisingly many cars don't have it's that you can adjust the height of the seat belt. I know it's not a big thing, but imagine that some cars don't have this option. So even despite being hard plastic, quite gray here, in the same time it's a quite pleasant atmosphere. So bravo Kia. And now this is the reverse camera. It does not have a great resolution, but it's more than enough for your needs. You see here everything you need to see. It's very useful, and it's very great that a budget car has it. Also, this is the steering wheel. It's plastic, but nevertheless it feels quite nice. Under the hood, this is the 1.2 naturally aspirated petrol engine with only 84 horsepower. Of course, you can see that you don't have a sound insulation for the hood, so this was a cost-cutting decision. This is the engine, a naturally aspirated one, simple engine, reliable, a classic engine. It has 4 cylinders, and of course you don't have that rattling noise and vibrations that a 3-cylinder engine usually have. Nothing special, the engine is not covered, of course cost cutting, but it's a normal engine, reliable. That is what it will be. You can be sure of that, a reliable engine. And the car battery for a petrol car, it's 60 ampere hour, most probably because it has a start-stop system and you need a more powerful starting battery. And the hood, surprisingly, it's quite heavy. And now I will close it and let's hear it, how it sounds. Sounds a little bit like empty metal, but nevertheless a little bit better than in the Sandero. Okay, driving the Kia Stonic. The first thing that I noticed it when I started driving the car was that I had no need for me to accustom with it. That is a very not only surprising, I think this is the first car where I jumped in and I didn't feel the need to get accustomed with the car. Everything, the clutch, the gear lever, the steering wheel, everything felt very familiar with me. Everything was very easy for me. Even if it's the first time when I'm driving this car, it feels like I drove it for 30,000 kilometers, which says a lot about the way this car was built. Very balanced in everything. The clutch doesn't feel too soft, doesn't feel too hard, it's where it needs to be. Also, the brakes, it's the same. I didn't need time to get accustomed with the brakes because it felt like all my cars that I drove in the past. And this is very nice because a new driver can very easily get accustomed with this car. It's a nice car to drive, especially in the city, but also it can go to longer trips despite the engine being only 1.2 petrol. Of course, it will be a little bit noisy. The owner told me that at 120-130 kilometers per hour, you have 4,000 RPM. That will be quite noisy inside. And also at 95-100 kilometers per hour, the engine had around 3,000 RPM, which of course it's quite a lot. But surprisingly, despite this, the fuel consumption on, let's say, national roads, not inside the city, was around 5.6 liters of petrol per 100 kilometers. You will see this converted for those of you in the UK on the screen. So 5.6 for a small engine, naturally aspirated petrol. My Volkswagen Fox 1.4, it gets 7 or 8 liters per 100 kilometers on national roads, and this one only 5.6. That is great. And inside the city, well, here it depends. Why I'm saying this? Well, it depends how congested the city is. I'm here in the capital city, but it's a weekend day, where the city is not that congested, and I had around 6.5, 6.6 liters per 100 kilometers fuel consumption. But of course, if the city will get congested, you can go up to 8 liters. But again, I'm comparing it with my old Volkswagen Fox, which also has a naturally aspirated petrol engine, and I have a fuel consumption of 9 to 12 liters per 100 kilometers in the city, of course depending how congested the city is, and this one only from 6 to 8, so it's also very economical. The gear lever, even if it's a plastic one, like I said in the beginning, it feels very nice to change the gears. It's not hard, it's soft, you know all the time where the gears are, so it's very hard for you to miss the gear. If you want power from this engine, of course, you need to push it a little bit. You need to go up in the torque. But let's see, I'm accelerating. Of course, it's not very punchy. It's a 1.2 naturally aspirated engine. But for the city, you don't need more than this. And up to, let's say, 60-70 kilometers per hour, it's also not very noisy. In the same time, the steering wheel. It's very nice that when you are parking the car, the steering wheel, it's very soft. But while you are driving it, while you are increasing the speed, also the steering wheel, it's not that soft anymore. And what I like is that it responds. You see, I'm moving it slightly and the car already responds. It offers you a lot of feedback despite being, let's say, adjusted for city driving. And that is also a very nice thing. In the same time, you have very good visibility. As you can see here, the A-pillar, it's not very thick. It's quite thin, and this helps a lot in terms of visibility. I'm comparing this with my car, which is an Opel for you in UK, Vauxhall Astra. It has a very thick A-pillar, and it got me at least several days to get accustomed with it when I bought it. But here, you see, the A-pillar, it's quite thin, so the car is great in terms of visibility. The windscreen is also quite big. The side window is also quite big. The side mirrors are not really that big, but in the same time, they offer good visibility. So you don't need those bulky SUV side mirrors because they cover the car quite well. Also, the seats are very comfortable. I don't know how it would be, let's say, after 4 hours driving, but at least here in the city, they feel comfortable, meaning they are not very soft, they are not very hard, they are adjusted in a balanced way. They offer a lot of side support, so you sit here very well. And also what is nice is that despite having my seat in the lowest position, I still feel like in a mini SUV because I have here in the front, I can also see the hood and its bulky middle area, and it offers you a little bit of massiveness in a small car. So you really feel like in a crossover. You don't feel like in a hatchback that it was raised a little bit. No, it offers you a proper mini SUV feeling. The riding, it's not very soft. It's a little bit quite rigid, especially that we are talking about a city car where you would expect that the riding would be soft. But no, it's not that soft. It's quite rigid, but also this one helps in terms of stability. So it's a quite stable car for a city car, and it's a quite stable car for a mini SUV, where you know that the taller is the car, the less stable it is. This one, it offers a very good balance in terms of riding suspension. So here we are at the end. I promised you in the beginning that I will tell you after this review if this car it's worth the money difference compared to a Sandero Stepway. Well, if you can afford 3,000 euros extra for a base version, because we are talking about base versions, my answer is definitely yes, because you will get a little bit better build quality. Even though this car is also a budget car, you will get a little bit better safety. Even this car was tested by Euro NCAP only in 2017, but nevertheless it offers a little bit more safety than the Sandero, and also it offers 7-year warranty. Of course, some people might think that this 1.2 petrol engine it has too little power, but it's 84 horsepower, which are more than enough for city driving. It's a classic engine. It's a naturally aspirated engine. It's 4 cylinders, not 3. So, and it's an engine that stood the test of time. And this means that it's a reliable engine. So for those of you who can afford the money difference, yes, go for the Stonic instead of the Sandero. But if you are not willing to pay the money difference, and if you think that it's not worth it, then the Sandero Stepway is also a great choice.